Hey guys, it's Todd from Like Minded Lunatics, bringing you another Drink, Play, Swear. It's all we do around here. I mean, besides co-writing stories about middle-aged superheroes who lose their wives to their arch enemies and have to go to therapy, it's really all we care to do around here. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, bang, could you hit that subscribe button? Welcome back to the channel. Bang, hit that subscribe button so we can see how big this family of weirdos is getting. Thanks for being a like-minded lunatic. And hey, if you don't know, Mark Gifford's got great Friday night videos every Friday night. It's just the best stuff on YouTube. So bang, please hit that subscribe and check out Mark's stuff. My writing partner and good buddy has the best stuff on YouTube out there. Okay, so what is it that we do around here at Drink, Play, Swear? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. We play a game, usually a classic one, pair it with a beverage, and I tell you a story. What are we playing today? What are we playing today? Well, it's a SEGA Genesis game. That's right. It's Comix Zone. Comix Zone. Now, why am I picking this one? Well, because you know me, I love comic books. We're going to get more into the fact that there's actually a tie-in for the theme today. What are we pairing with it today? It's a Jim Beam and Coke. Why don't you get yourself something, please? Wouldn't that be delightful if you did? All right. Real quick on Comix Zone, and then we'll get into the story for today. Check this out. I love this game. I didn't own this game. It was a renter for me, okay? SEGA Genesis renter. You know, I had like Sonic. I had Sonic 2, and then, I don't know, maybe one or two other games, but I didn't have a lot of Genesis games. So I rented them, and this game was fun, because I love comic books, but it's also a good game. And look at this. I'll skip through the intro. Night of the Mutants. This is cool because you're the hero navigating through your own comic book. So you're like an artist. I'm going to skip all the story here for you in the game because you don't want to just watch me interact with this character, do you? No, you want to get to it, don't you? Look at this. So you play like a creator of a comic book, and you get sucked in by this villain to fight bad guys in your own book, you see. This villain is hoping to escape the comic and take your physical body over. So you're fighting your way through. It's fun. And isn't it weird how in the 90s, this game came out in 95, isn't it weird how everything was like interacting with comic books then? Like, oh, there was what, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Cool World. And there was that episode of Tales from the Crypt where the artist's drawings came to life. And then the Tiny Toon Adventures came out then. And the first episode, if you remember, was like the creator of Tiny Toons talking with Babs and what was his name? Anyway, the Tiny Toons, you know what I'm talking about. I guess we were obsessed with comic books, and I still am. All right, so what are we talking about in the story today? What are we getting to? Well, for those of you who know Mark and myself, you know that we write together and that we love comic books. We finished our first venture together when Wade tried to save the world. That's right, if you don't know, before we got into YouTube and before we joined Austin Public, we were writing radio dramas and audiobooks that we were publishing ourselves. And one thing that I really loved about it, can I just blow this thing up? There you go. One thing I loved about doing it is that Mark and I feel good running around in different styles, in different genres. So sometimes we'll do a film noir thing, sometimes we'll play around with sort of like a paranormal comedy, you know? We've done a lot of different stuff together. Well, we had not done anything superhero related, okay? Finally getting into how this ties to the game. And so we started talking about how great those old 40s Superman radio shows were, and how hilariously bad the exposition was. Because in a radio show, you know, how do you do a radio show about a superhero? Because isn't the thing that's exciting about seeing them fly and seeing them fight bad guys, the bright, colorful outfits? So it's black and white, not black and white at all. It's nothing. There's nothing to see at all. I was thinking about those early Superman and Batman serials, but this is just radio. So you get this awful exposition in these things, right? Where the narrator is forced to like explain exactly what's happening. And so we got to talking about, wouldn't it be funny? There we go. I'll figure the game out eventually. Wouldn't it be funny if we wrote like an Adventures of Superman style radio drama? And so we got to think about what that might be. And in those days, Mark and I really only saw each other like once or twice a week for like 10 minutes at a time. Isn't this cool? You're like throwing him through panels and stuff. I love this game. It's super hard though. You only get one life, no continues. It's just like one and done. So I'm definitely gonna die here. But hopefully I can finish this first level. So we would get together and we would just talk about the next thing, like, and it evolved over the course of a year probably. There we go. Got to the first page at least. Well done, Toddy, not Turner. So we would constantly be thinking about what's this going to be? And we didn't have a name for the character, so we called him Hero Man, just as like a fill-in, you know? What's Hero Man going to do? So we had just seen, this is back in like 2014 or 2015, we had just seen Man of Steel, DC's reboot of the Superman franchise, and in it he fights General Zod and totally destroys Metropolis. Like Midtown is completely destroyed. And so we thought, wouldn't it be funny if we could, what is this? If we wrote that like a hero got his license revoked because he destroyed half of Midtown. So that was the idea, and then we started making Hero Man kind of like this pathetic character, this character that that wasn't respected and loved like he'd once been. And so to add insult to injury, we not only did we lift his license, but we thought that it would be funny if his wife left him for his archenemy. So we hadn't written anything yet, and this is, you know, weeks go by, months go by, where we're just building on it as we talk. And we talk about, oh, wouldn't it be great if he has to go to therapy? Superhero therapy, what would that look like? And then, okay, what do I do here on this? Because this is going to hurt me and I'm almost dead. I killed myself. Not on purpose. Look at that. Artist X me out. I deserve it. So, look at this. Bad ending. Look at this guy. This is the bad guy. He turns flesh and blood and goes on to destroy the world, all because I lost in level 2. Let's try again. Yes, it's going to show how pathetic I am. I'm 22% hero. Okay, what's your percentage of hero? So judgmental. So, all right, we'll get back into it. So then we said, okay, Hero Man is going to go to therapy. He's a middle-aged guy. His wife left him for his archenemy. And then it was sort of like, what tortures can we do? Speaking of this comic book thing, you remember when Bugs Bunny was drawing Daffy Duck's cartoon and he kept torturing him? Well, it's sort of what Mark and I were doing with Hero Man. It's like, all right, how else can we torture this guy? So we're like, okay, how about not only does his wife leave him for his archenemy, but what if his archenemy is in therapy with him? And worst of all, what if the therapy is working on the archenemy and he actually becomes a decent person? So then, we were talking about, how sort of his archenemy, his name is the Red Ruin, by the way, would eventually start trying to counsel Hero Man on how to be a good person, and that how frustrating that would be. The man that, took your wife is better than you and trying to help you. So Red Ruin became like a little, angel on his shoulder, and so we decided, like, well, we need a devil on the shoulder now. And so we came up with what is my favorite character that we have come up with together, Mark and I, and that is Better Man. And Better Man is like this whiskey-soaked, roughhousing elder statesman hero who was Hero Man's mentor. And Mark was like, oh, sort of like Sam Elliott in character, And it was like, oh, that'd be great, like a Patrick Swayze, Sam Elliott relationship, like in Roadhouse. Again, we hadn't written anything. Well, finally, there was an occasion where Mark was going to be in San Antonio because his wife was going to be in a conference, and they were staying at the Grand Hyatt. So while she was hang on, I need to pick this thing up. How do I use it though? Todd, there we go. While his wife was in a conference, he said, why don't you come to the hotel room and we'll map out this thing so we can write Hero Man. So I came to the hotel, and he had on the table this bottle of scotch, okay? And he's like, let's map this thing out so we can start writing, because we've been talking about this thing for a year. He poured us a couple of scotches, and we sat down and outlined the entire first season of the Adventures of Heroman. And what I mean by that is that we sort of, using plot points, we figured out like 3 or 4 things that was going to occur in each episode, and we built the world, we built the characters, we gave ourselves like a little Google Doc that would remind us of who the characters were and what they were like. and we mapped out what was going to happen, the events. And that way, either of us could just go to the dock and just start writing. So if I really was excited about scene 2 in episode 3, I'd just go write it. And if Mark was really excited about scene 1 in episode 4, he could just go do it. And we cobbled the story together that way. And it was great. It was a great experience. And I have to say, it was the best experience I have had collaboratively writing, or writing in general. I'm so proud of what we ended up creating in the Adventures of Heroman. And I was so excited about that session together that when we finished that bottle of scotch, I took it, and Mark didn't even know. I put this in my bag and took this with me as a commemorative, as like a, this was a big day. And still to this day was the most fun I've ever had writing that day and just outlining that stuff. We would go on to write the episodes out. We would do the voice performances of them, which is, for me, the most fun part of it. We would ask, again, my cousin and our good friend Ricky to do the score, and man, he really did it. Because, see, the other stuff we had done before, they were more like audiobooks. There was like one narrator, and there was a score and sound effects and all of that, and it was great. But this one was more immersive, and it was a true radio play. We had the narrator only really setting the scene, and then the characters, through dialogue, multiple actors were going to be carrying this thing. And so we were asking a lot from Ricky, and man, he delivered like he always does. That theme song for the Adventures of Heroman is so great. It sort of reminds me of like Johnny Quest, for those 60s Hanna-Barbera stuff. So great. So I don't know if you've had a chance to do so, but the Adventures of Heroman is on the Like Minded Lunatics YouTube channel, something that we're both very proud of. All right, I beat the first level again, and something that you've got to experience if you haven't already. All right, so so much fun writing the Adventures of Heroman and playing this game, but it's time to go. So hey, in between now and the next time I talk to yous, oh gosh, that's a lot of beverage. I'm Toddy Mack, Scotsman 37%.
Pause. All right, I'm going to bust in here. I'm part of this story too. This is one of my stories as well, Todd. So, folks, one of the things that Todd didn't really tell you, he's too humble. He's not humble, but he didn't tell you that his voiceover character in The Adventures of Heroman is absolutely amazing. One of the things we discovered in creating that series was that not only does Todd have a face made for radio, he's got a voice made for radio, and his voiceover character is flat out amazing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to insert one of the trailers that we created for The Adventures of Heroman. It's got a little bit of Todd performing in there, and he does his wind-up thing when he's performing. It's great. I'll play that trailer, and then please go check out The Adventures of Heroman on YouTube. We also, when we published it on YouTube, we had Serena Fast, a local artist, do art for us, and so it's almost like a moving comic book, the version that we put up here on YouTube. So let's roll that trailer, then I'll give you right back to Todd so he can finish his drink.
And off they go! Can Heroman and Betterman put a stop to the vile villain known to the wide world as the Boomerang? You can't miss next week, Hero fans. It's going to be a mind-altering Heroman tale that we'll be talking about for decades.
See ya.